think this is pretty interesting. A guy I like to follow on Twitter by the name of Michael, he sniffed this out. And I'm going to give him credit where credit is due, and I do find it extremely interesting. And we are talking about players that may have signed with Project B basketball.
The entire WNBA community was caught off guard when Project B's official account quietly began following a select group of players, triggering instant speculation across social media. With the new league known for keeping everything behind closed doors, fans immediately noticed the sudden appearance of Kelsey Mitchell, Jonquel Jones, and Kamilla Cardoso on their radar.
The new league, aka Project B, is now following several new players, including Indiana Fever star Kelsey Mitchell. That's right.
Project B only follows a handful of people, so every new addition sends a clear message. These follow patterns might be accidental, or they might be revealing the first wave of hidden signings. And if these names are confirmed, the WNBA is in serious trouble.
I went over here and they're only following 11 entities. They're only following 11 on their official Twitter feed. Kelsey Mitchell. I'm not following Kelsey, really? My girl Kamilla Cardoso, you can see I'm following her. Center, the Chicago Sky, right? Jewel B. Lloyd, yeah, Jewel Lloyd, a hotshot basketball player out of France.
Everything began with a single observation on social media, and it came from a fan who has built a reputation for catching details long before mainstream outlets do. Michael noticed that Project B's official account suddenly began following a new group of players. At first glance, it seemed small, almost insignificant, but then the numbers told a different story.
In case you guys didn't know this, my third favorite player in the entire WNBA is Jonquel Jones. And they are also following Jonquel Jones. Very interesting because they're following Nike Ogumake, who is signed with their league, and Alyssa Thomas, who is signed with their league. We've heard they've already signed other players. We don't know who those other players are. Should be noted, unless I'm going crazy, Kamilla Cardoso, Jonquel Jones are not playing in Unrivaled.
Project B only follows a very limited circle, which means every new follow has weight. The moment Michael posted about it, fans poured in to confirm what he saw, and the pattern was impossible to ignore. Kelsey Mitchell, Jonquel Jones, Kamilla Cardoso. These were not random additions. These were high-value WNBA stars with massive influence on and off the court. Curiosity spread quickly, and many fans raced to Project B's page to see for themselves. That is when the shock really hit. The account was only following 11 entities in total. With so few being monitored, the presence of these three names felt intentional, almost like a breadcrumb trail hinting at secret negotiations. Nothing had been announced publicly, and the players themselves did not reference anything unusual. But sports fans know how these things work.
I don't know what that means, but I find it very interesting that these random players are being followed by this new league.
In the modern era, social media activity often reveals deals long before press releases ever appear. A follow from a major league usually means talks have already happened behind the scenes. The moment this detail got traction, fans began breaking down every angle. Why these players? Why all at once? And why now when the WNBA is facing pressure from rival leagues and growing contract disputes?
At least these particular players, not counting Alyssa Thomas, but some of these players, Jonquel Jones, Kelsey Mitchell, Kamilla, I've not seen any kind of like activism surrounding those players or anything of that sort.
The more people looked at the list, the more it seemed like Project B was sending a signal without speaking. Even reporters began taking notice, pointing out that these specific players are known for elite talent, strong numbers, and increasing demand overseas.
And we know the money's going to be big. So, as you can imagine, we're going to keep our eyes open. But Kelsey Mitchell, Jonquel Jones are two huge names. Jewel Lloyd, big name. Kamilla Cardoso, big name, high-profile athlete out of South Carolina.
And the biggest question hovering over everyone was simple. Was this just a coincidence, or was Project B quietly revealing the first wave of stars preparing to make the jump? The silence from the league and the players only made the mystery louder.
This is going to get good, I think. This storyline, watching how this affects Unrivaled, again, I think Unrivaled is doomed. And then how it affects the WNBA is going to get really interesting.
As fans dug deeper into the list of players that Project B suddenly followed, the significance of each name became even harder to ignore. The first major shock was Kelsey Mitchell. She's been one of the most explosive scorers in the WNBA for years, carrying Indiana through countless stretches where her ability to create her own shot kept the team competitive. Her offensive skill set makes her a top target for any league trying to launch with credibility. A player like Kelsey joining Project B would instantly legitimize the new competition and signal that the WNBA may not be able to retain all of its stars when bigger money is offered elsewhere. Then came Jonquel Jones. This is where the conversation shifted from curiosity to alarm. Jonquel is not just another talented player, she is a former MVP, a championship-caliber leader, and one of the most respected figures in women's basketball. If she is on Project B's radar, it means the new league is not just recruiting young stars, they are going after established elite veterans who can draw viewers, elevate the level of play, and bring instant legitimacy to a brand new league. Seeing her name on that list made fans question how much progress Project B has already made behind closed doors. And then there was Kamilla Cardoso. Her inclusion was the biggest surprise. She is new to the WNBA but has quickly become one of the most hyped players due to her size, energy, and rising influence on social media. For a league like Project B, attracting someone with her momentum could help pull in an entire generation of fans who follow her from college to professional play. Her global appeal, especially in Brazil, adds another layer of interest for a league branding itself as international. The presence of these three names together felt too strategic to be accidental. Fans began asking if this was a carefully coordinated move by Project B or whether the players had already reached private agreements. Every new theory added fuel to the speculation, and the silence surrounding the situation only made the story grow more intense.
When fans stepped back and looked at the pattern, it became clear that Project B was not following players at random. There was a strategy behind every name. The league has marketed itself as a global, competitive alternative that plans to crown a world champion rather than limit itself to a single country. With that mission in mind, the players they chose to follow suddenly made perfect sense. Kelsey Mitchell represents elite American talent, a pure scorer who can fill arenas. Jonquel Jones brings international respect and championship pedigree. Kamilla Cardoso adds rising global star power backed by a massive fanbase from Brazil. Together, these three form a perfect balance of skill, marketability, and international reach. Project B is trying to build something that feels bigger than a traditional basketball league. They want their brand to be global from day one. To achieve that, they need faces that resonate across different audiences. Kelsey gives them a powerful American anchor. Jonquel connects them to Caribbean fans and longtime WNBA supporters who appreciate proven talent. Kamilla brings a young international following that appeals to new viewers. Each player fits into a larger blueprint, one that seems designed to position Project B as a worldwide product rather than a regional experiment. There is another angle fans pointed out. These players belong to different stages of their careers. Kelsey's in her prime. Jonquel is a veteran with leadership and championship experience. Kamilla is a rising star with a long future ahead of her. If Project B truly wants to launch with a roster that looks strong, diverse, and balanced, these three names are the kind of foundation any serious league would target. Their presence on the follow list suggests that Project B's not just trying to create competition, they're building a stable core that looks ready for long-term success. The idea that a brand new league is already identifying and pulling in a lineup like this is what has everyone talking. Fans are beginning to wonder if these follow patterns are the early signs of deals that are already in motion. And if that is the case, the story is only getting started.
As speculation grew, another layer of the story pushed its way into the conversation. Project B is not just any new league. It is backed by a Saudi-owned entertainment company, and that alone sparked immediate controversy. The moment the partnership became public, a wave of concern spread across social media. Some fans were excited about the massive payouts rumored to be offered, while others warned that the money came with political baggage. Terms like sports washing began appearing in comment sections, echoing the same debates that surrounded Saudi investments in boxing, golf, and soccer. The reaction showed how divided fans were becoming even before the league had officially launched. Players themselves have been more careful about what they say publicly. Many have acknowledged that the money is life-changing. Project B is capable of offering contracts far beyond what the WNBA provides. And for athletes who often spend their off-seasons overseas just to make ends meet, the idea of earning more in a single season than they usually do in 4 is almost impossible to ignore. But with that opportunity comes scrutiny. Fans question whether joining Project B would damage a player's reputation or draw criticism from those who oppose the league's financial source. This is exactly why the follow activity raised eyebrows. If players as respected as Jonquel Jones or as promising as Kamilla Cardoso were in talks with Project B, it signaled that the money was overpowering the controversy. Kelsey Mitchell's presence made it even clearer. These are not fringe players. These are high-level athletes who carry influence, and if they are entertaining the idea of joining a Saudi-backed league, it means the financial incentives are far stronger than the backlash. The debate is only intensifying. Some argue that players should chase whatever opportunities secure their futures. Others insist that aligning with Project B sends the wrong message. And with each new player the league follows, fans grow more uneasy, wondering how many stars might already be preparing to leave the WNBA behind.
The moment fans realized that multiple WNBA stars were possibly preparing to jump to Project B, attention shifted to another league caught in the crossfire. Unrivaled, the players-only league launched with huge promises and major hype, suddenly found itself in a dangerous position. From the beginning, Unrivaled was marketed as a groundbreaking alternative that would finally give players more control and better compensation. But while the concept sounded strong on paper, its launch has been slow, its structure uncertain, and its financial backing far weaker than the powerhouse behind Project B. Now, with these follow patterns emerging, people are beginning to question whether Unrivaled ever stood a chance. Seeing names like Jonquel Jones, Kamilla Cardoso, and Kelsey Mitchell connected to Project B raised the biggest concern so far. These are exactly the type of players Unrivaled desperately needs to succeed. Without big names, the league risks launching without the momentum it promised fans. And the more people compared the two leagues, the clearer the problem became. Project B offers massive salaries, international marketing, a global audience, and long-term stability backed by billion-dollar investors. Unrivaled offers control and creative freedom, but without the financial pull to keep players from looking elsewhere. Many fans pointed out that Project B has already signed confirmed stars like Nneka Ogwumike and Alyssa Thomas. If they also manage to secure players such as Jonquel or Kamilla behind the scenes, then Unrivaled may not only struggle, it may collapse before it even begins. A league without top-tier talent simply cannot compete for attention, viewership, or sponsorships. And with Project B moving quietly and strategically, it looks as if they are positioning themselves to dominate the entire landscape before Unrivaled can get off the ground. As a result, fans are starting to predict a future where Unrivaled becomes overshadowed almost instantly. What was supposed to be a player-led revolution now appears vulnerable, and the suspicion that Project B has already convinced key athletes to join them has added a sense of urgency. If these follow signals are accurate, Unrivaled may be facing the biggest problem it has encountered yet.
As the conversation shifted away from Unrivaled, a much bigger concern rose to the surface. What does all of this mean for the WNBA itself? The league has been trying to build momentum with new stars, improved marketing, and rising fan interest. Yet Project B's quiet movements threaten to undo years of progress in a matter of months. The WNBA has always struggled with financial limitations. Many players still earn modest salaries and are forced to play overseas during the off-season just to make a livable income. Now, with the league offering payouts far beyond anything the WNBA can match, the fear of a talent drain is becoming very real. Fans also pointed out that the WNBA is already dealing with several internal challenges. Teams are stretched thin, travel issues remain a constant complaint, marketing for certain players feels inconsistent, and even star athletes sometimes express frustration over how the league handles promotion and support. In this climate, Project B is offering something the WNBA cannot: immediate financial stability and global outreach. That combination is powerful, especially for players who have spent years fighting for better opportunities. The idea of losing top-tier names like Jonquel Jones or rising stars like Kamilla Cardoso is not just symbolic, it affects competitive balance, franchise marketing, ticket sales, and even television contracts. If several major players sign elsewhere, teams may struggle to fill seats or maintain fan enthusiasm. The WNBA has built much of its recent growth on the star power of individual players.
Losing even a few of them to a rival league could create long-term issues that are hard to repair. There is also another layer. If Project B succeeds in attracting enough players, it could force the WNBA into uncomfortable decisions regarding salary increases, scheduling adjustments, or business reforms. Pressure from a financially superior competitor can reshape an entire industry. Fans are already wondering if the WNBA will respond publicly or stay silent until official signings are confirmed.
As the speculation continued to build, one name inevitably pushed its way into the conversation, even though she was not part of the follow list: Caitlin Clark. Her impact on the WNBA has been immediate, powerful, and unlike anything the league has experienced in years. Whenever a major shift in women's basketball is discussed, her name always surfaces. Fans began asking the same question across social media. If Project B is targeting stars from different tiers and age groups, could Caitlin Clark eventually become part of their long-term plans? The idea might sound bold, but the reasoning is simple. Project B is aiming for global reach. Caitlin already brings it. Her collegiate popularity shattered records. Her arrival in the WNBA generated viewership spikes, packed arenas, and unprecedented merchandise sales. She has essentially become the face of modern women's basketball. Any league looking to dominate the market knows that securing a player with that level of influence would be the ultimate victory. Even the conversation around her hypothetical involvement shows how powerful her brand has become. Fans also noted something else. Project B has already shown a willingness to make aggressive moves. They signed Nneka Ogwumike. They signed Alyssa Thomas. They are following rising stars and former MVPs. A league with that kind of financial backing is fully capable of offering contracts that break traditional limits. And when a league can afford to make massive offers, even players who are deeply loyal to their teams begin to feel the pressure. Caitlin is still early in her WNBA career, but nothing prevents Project B from planning years ahead. The discussion does not stop there. Some fans believe Project B could attempt to build marketing campaigns directly around her. Others think her involvement would instantly shift the power balance away from the WNBA. Even the idea that she could be approached has created tension among fans who fear losing the league's brightest star. No one is suggesting she's leaving, no one is claiming negotiations have happened, but the very possibility highlights how disruptive Project B has already become. And if these follow patterns are indicators of early signings, then Caitlin Clark might not be the only superstar they eventually target.
As the follow activity continued to circulate online, it became clear that this was more than a simple social media moment. It signaled a shift in women's basketball that could reshape the entire competitive landscape. Project B is not approaching this like a small startup league. Every move they make suggests a long-term strategy backed by serious financial power. Following elite names from different teams, different countries, and different career stages shows that they want a balanced league, ready for global attention the moment they launch. For fans watching closely, this felt like the beginning of a power struggle between established institutions and a bold new challenger. The silence coming from the WNBA made things even more dramatic. No official statements, no public reassurance, no acknowledgement of the speculation spreading online. That silence made fans wonder whether league executives were already aware of potential departures, but were choosing to wait until deals became official. After all, the WNBA has quietly dealt with overseas leagues for years, but this is the first time a competitor has tried to challenge them directly during the domestic season. Project B's timing suggests they want to take advantage of that vulnerability. Meanwhile, media outlets and fan pages began preparing for what could turn into one of the biggest sports storylines of the year. Everybody wants to know which players have already signed, which ones are close, and how many more are on Project B's list. The uncertainty has created an atmosphere of tension. Every new rumor gains thousands of views. Every hint of movement sparks new debate. With the increasing attention, the stakes only get higher. If Project B manages to secure a lineup of recognized stars, it could permanently shift viewership, sponsorship deals, and even the global future of women's basketball. The most striking part is that all of this began with simple social media activity. A few follows, a few names, and suddenly fans started to realize something bigger was happening behind the scenes. If Project B continues making deliberate choices like this, the next few months could change everything. The question now is whether the WNBA is prepared for the level of competition that is headed their way. What started as a quiet set of follows from Project B has now exploded into one of the most talked about moments in women's basketball. With Kelsey Mitchell, Jonquel Jones, and Kamilla Cardoso suddenly on their radar, fans can sense that a major shift is coming. Whether these moves hint at confirmed signings or early negotiations, the impact is already being felt. The WNBA, Unrivaled, and even international leagues are bracing for change. Project B has shown that it is willing to challenge the system, and the next wave of announcements could reshape the entire future of the sport.